Hello Libra, and welcome to your April 2025 tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and get started here with an oracle card. So what is it that Libra needs to know for April 2025? We start with a card that says surrender to the divine, which might mean there are things you're just going to have to take your hands off the wheel with. You're going to have to just kind of trust this process, have a lot of faith, and I hate to say it so like brazenly, but just like hope for the best, I guess. And to not put a lot of worry or anxiousness into things. I think worry and anxiousness are irrelevant. I think they're not going to help anything. This is going to be a time where you just have to say, you know what? I guess let's try it. Let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. Let's have the conversation. Let's move in that direction. Let's make the decision and let's just roll with it. Now, I'm not saying you have to be completely ignorant and naive going into things. Of course, you can research and that kind of thing. But, at a certain point, you don't want to hold yourself up for too long, right? At a certain point, it's like, let's just take the plunge and let's just go for it. And just see what happens. And I think that's going to be a good strategy for you, weirdly. I think it's going to be good, especially as Mars later on in the month, April 18th, so not right away, but April 18th, we have Mars coming into Leo. And I think as that 11th house is activated, 11th, not 8th, the 11th house is activated, there's going to be kind of an uplifting effect, okay? We have this dream the world into being. And it's not just about dreams, though. I think there's a lot of dreams and there's a lot of, alignment. There's a lot of thought processes that go into things. And I think that you're on the right track. You're doing the right tasks, you're speaking the right way, your mind is clicked in the right place, and now it's just a matter of carrying on, So let's see what the tarot has to say. What else does Libra need to know for April? Okay, so we start off with the Queen of Cups. It's a really nice soft entry. I will say that. It's a really nice soft entry into the month. Four of Cups and the Devil. Okay. I like the Queen of Cups a lot because it feels surrendered to the divine. It feels in tune with the intuition, which of course the Queen of Cups often represents. And it feels trusting. And I think when we have this surrender to the divine card coming out, the notion of trust is big. I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing, like, with the Queen, I'm seeing you being focused on really small things. And like in a good way, like focused on like waking up and doing your morning routine and going to work and doing the little things that make up your life, and not worrying so much about the big picture, and just kind of having this inherent trust that that big picture will inevitably come to fruition as you are doing all of these smaller things. I think there's an artistic quality coming through with the Queen of Cups as well. And I don't know, maybe you are feeling a bit of that creativity coming online a little bit. You're starting to feel your artistic flair kind of sparking up. So if you are writing or creating or working with clients or doing anything that does have an aspect of creativity to it, whether it's a hobby or something professional or whatever, I think you're going to really notice that energy is kind of being amplified right now. And with the Four of Cups, there are options and people trying to make offers to you. And I kind of think you're in your own little world. And I just don't know that you're in a position where you're wanting to accept anyone else's cups right now. Like when I look at the Queen of Cups, she's got her beautiful kind of holy grail kind of cup. These cups to me feel very plain And it's almost as though a lot of the offers that other people have, they're just not that intriguing for Libra right now. They're not intriguing, they're not promising, they don't sound like they're in alignment, they don't feel like they're in alignment, certainly. And I just kind of think that you're keeping yourself out of a lot of things. You're keeping yourself unavailable specifically so that you can dedicate more and more to your stuff. Now, the devil, I'm actually really liking this month. We kind of have to talk about it in both ways, right? We have to talk about the devil in terms of ego and pride and temptation and kind of the more physical drives that we have. And there may be some of you may be dealing with that, maybe dealing with that with other people. Maybe there are some difficult personalities that you're needing to contend with and whatnot. But I think more than any of that, the devil truly represents your commitment. And that's more of what I'm seeing, as the devil is ruled by Saturn. We have Saturn with his structure and his management style and his ambition to climb and to achieve. And the thing with the devil is with the chains, like where you're kind of locked in here, there does seem to be this aspect of like, I have to lock in, I have to commit, I have to plant myself at my desk and just not move until it's done, kind of thing. And maybe it's a little severe, a lot more severe than the Queen of Cups. And again, as we move into April, it kind of starts kind of soft, but maybe you start to get more and more and more serious about things. I think it's your cup, your holy grail here. I have a feeling like your ideas, your projects and whatnot, there is something to those, right? It's not just a flimsy project that you're just doing, oh, it's like fun or whatever. I mean, it may be fun, but it's not just fun. I think there's something on the other side. Maybe it's monetizable, right? Maybe it's going to be profitable. Maybe it's going to carry you somewhere, or it's going to put you in contact with someone, whatever the case may be. But it's not just the project for the project's sake. It is definitely leading you somewhere else. So it's special, and I think it merits this level of commitment here. Sorry for the noise, my cats. But yeah, so that's why I think you're staying really unavailable here. And I think this card here actually makes you want to commit even more, because the more and more you look at these average cups and you're like, not interested, not very exciting, not very special, blah, the more you realize that what you have is actually really special, and the more you realize how much more you want to commit to it. Okay, so it almost feels like there's kind of a realization period that happens on accident, again, in a very surrendered way. It's a realization that you're on the right track and that you actually really care about this and that this is something that matters to you. Okay, so as we go to the next row, okay, so the next row we have the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the King of Cups. Sorry for the interruption. I had to take care of the cat situation. So the Knight of Wands feels adventurous, right? Kind of buoyant, kind of excited. What I like about this is a Sagittarius card, okay? So the Sagittarius energy is Jupiterian, and it really expands us. We really evolve, we grow, we go on adventures, we have a good time, and we don't take things so seriously. Now, that's opposite of what I just said. I'm not trying to contradict myself, because you can have this level of commitment and have a great time, right? And hopefully you can find that balance. Hopefully you can find that place, and you can really care about something and take it seriously and have a good time. I think the Knight of Wands wants to have a good time, and I think you want to enjoy the work, you want to enjoy the process, you want to enjoy the growth that comes with all of this. And I feel like you feel like you're being lifted up and up and up and up. And this project, I think, whatever project it is or whatever goal you have, I think it's changing you, but not in like a deep core kind of way. I just think that you're embodying something new and you're evolving in a very simple, uncomplicated way. And you're becoming different. Now, we want to remember that Neptune is coming into Aries, okay? So, as of March 30th, really, Neptune comes into Aries. So, the entire month of April, Neptune will be in Aries, which is now opposite of you, now coming across your first house cusp, especially if you're, a Libra rising. It's going to be opposite your first house, and you're going to feel that Neptunian influence in a big way. And he's going to be dissolving a lot of these identities that we've held on so tightly to. And I think the Knight of Wands is kind of this moment where you feel those old identities really starting to lose their power, which is a good thing because those old identities, maybe we didn't realize, had us so locked in and so controlled and contained. And now I think there's a part of Libra that's starting to like come alive that you've always known was in there and you've always known you could access, but for some reason there was restriction there. And what's weird is I think the devil commitment really mirrors, or kind of not mirrors, but supports the freedom of the Knight of Wands. It is through your commitment and dedication to your project, I'll leave that very generic, to your project. It's that commitment that enables you all the freedom in the world. Okay? Now, the Knight of Swords in the very center of the reading, I mean, it could be an aspect of you, but it doesn't really resonate. I don't think the King of Cups really resonates with you either. I'm really liking these two cards for your energy a lot more, which means there might be other people that you're contending with. Now, the Knight of Swords feels like a higher pressure person. Okay, now we want to keep in mind that in the middle of April, April 12th specifically, that is when Venus stations direct. And she does so directly on top of Saturn, like within a degree in Pisces. And when she stations and stops, there's going to be a lot of Saturnine influence. And that's in the 6th house in your chart. And it can bring out more aggressive people. They kind of come out of the, there's some kind of elements of like secrecy sometimes with that 6th house. Although I don't think the Knight of Swords is all that secret. But it might be something that you didn't realize, like someone was feeling a certain type of way and all of a sudden it's exposed. But it does kind of lend itself to maybe some adversarial energy a little bit. But I feel like you've tuned it out. I'm looking at the Knight of Wands and he's going the other direction. He's not listening really to the Knight of Swords. I think the Knight of Wands is like, well, if you want to come along, you can. But if you want to fight me, you can, but I'm not going to fight back, because it's not worth your time or energy or attention. Like you're just down the line already. And this is someone who's either trying to keep up, they're trying to harp on something, they're trying to inject themselves, they're trying to hitch their cart to your horse, or whatever the case is. There's some kind of trailing energy. They're trailing behind. And maybe they're trying to gain some kind of control over what you're doing or something along those lines. I do think the Knight of Swords is a voice you need to tune out. And it's going to be hard because it's very loud. It's very loud. It's very opinionated. And it certainly is in it for its own self-interest. Now, I don't always mind the Knight of Swords. I like the Knight of Swords sometimes. But in this context, it feels kind of like a gnat, kind of, or a mosquito that kind of like is buzzing, 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 and you're like, get away. And somehow you just can't quite get away. But I see that Knight of Wands still just being like, I'm just going to mind my own business. This person can act however they want. They can behave however they want, but they are ultimately powerless in my life. And I think that's a decision that you just make. You're just going to make the decision that they are powerless in your life. Now, with the King of Cups, I like this energy a lot better. because it just feels kind of like it's just floating here. It's looking in the other direction. It's not really involved in a lot of the things that you have going on. It's a nice match for your Queen of Cups here. I think the reason why you're leaning in more toward the Queen, not only was it the first card that came out, but it's also your midheaven, Cancer. Cancer is your midheaven. Okay, so you have a lot of Cancerian qualities, and I think people, perceive you a lot in that Cancerian type of way, as that's kind of our public life, our public perception kind of house. So this is someone who I think mirrors that Cancerian quality in your life a lot. And this is not someone who's trying to inject themselves. They're not trying to tell you what to do. They're not trying to hitch their cart to your horse. I'm so sorry. My cats are on one so badly this morning. They are all over the place. There's something in the air today. Definitely. So this is not someone who's going to ruin anything, okay? But they're here. And I feel like they're just here. They're floating. They're making their presence known. And they are your support. When you need them, they're there. When you want to talk to them, they're there. And will they have opinions? Sure. Will they have ideas? Sure. But they're not trying to get anything from you. And I think this is one of the reasons why you feel safe with your King of Cups, because I think on one hand, he's kind of got your back. This is someone who's got your back. They're looking in places that you're not looking, right? Because you're looking here at the cup. You're looking here at your project. You're committed. You're focused. You're dedicated. You're in your little whimsical world here, surrendered to the divine. And this is someone who's like, what's going on around us? There's a lot of environmental awareness going on there. Okay. And it enables you, and it makes it safe for you to be in your creation mode. If you are married, this is most likely a spouse. If you are living at home, it's most likely your parents. If you are, if you're completely single, this may be just a best friend. Okay, someone who is in your life and around you and kind of helps keep you grounded. But again, they're not trying anything. They're just there. So let's see what else comes out for Libra. What do you need to know here for the remainder? Now, this is as we enter Taurus season. Now, Taurus season is usually a little bit more challenging for Libra because it's an 8th house situation. So the Three of Swords does not surprise me at all. There does seem to be some degree of disappointment or sadness or betrayal. And it may be current, or it may be remnants of something from the past. I don't think it's really coming from either one of these people. Maybe you need to create the Three of Swords in them. I'm not sure. But the Three of Swords, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Like, I don't know that it's this gut-wrenching event that happens. Okay, I think it's still very soft. But I think you're driven by your pain a little bit. You're driven by the thorn in your paw. Like, this could even be financial, right? Because it's 8th house, it's Taurus, and maybe you're kind of in a difficult financial spot and there's something that's like, it's really not feeling great. But this is what drives you, right? It's always that pain point. It's that trauma. It's that difficulty. It's that that letdown that you've had in your life that kind of gets you to that place of like, I got to overcome this. And I think with the Devil, that level of commitment there's really nothing that's going to get in your way. So the Three of Swords is so minimized. And like, even if there is an event that happens in the beginning of Taurus season, like if there is a loss, like let's say some of you go through a breakup at the beginning of Taurus season, because you're already on kind of shaky ground or something, you go through some kind of a breakup. It's not that you won't be sad about it or anything like that, but I also think that you realize it's just the path clearing, and so it's hard to be that upset about it when you are surrendered to the divine and you say, well, I guess I tried everything I could. I fought for it. I committed to it. I was all in. It didn't work out. So I guess it's not meant for me, right? This is very much a, rejection is God's protection type of deal. If this is old, right, or an old pain, I think it's accentuated at the beginning of Taurus season as the sun comes into that eighth house there, and you're reminded of it in some way, shape, or form, so that you can be even that much more driven to make your wishes come true. Because I actually think come Taurus season, there's a little bit of bittersweet where, yes, there's a Three of Swords, but yes, also your dreams are coming true, right? Dream the world into being. That's literally what you're doing. You're creating a beingness, an actuality of things. And in Taurus season, which is a physical earth sign season, it makes sense that things start to come to fruition during that time. Now, is it a full manifestation of things? Probably not. But is it a good, strong step? Absolutely yes. And I think it's a step that you'll feel satisfied with, where you look back and you realize that April was highly productive and you were effective, and that you were actually able to create a great deal during that time. And with the Ace of Swords, there's something about an understanding, like you come into a higher degree of understanding of how things work. And because maybe there's a little bit of a learning process, especially with the Knight of Wands, there really might be some kind of a learning process or a learning curve that takes place throughout the month of April. And by the end of April, it clicks and you're like, okay, I got it. I understand it now. That makes sense. So you're operating with a higher degree of wisdom at that point, wisdom and clarity and truth. And often the Ace of Swords does indicate a victory. Okay, so there's a win at the end of all of this. So Three of Swords or not, it doesn't matter. There is a win here. And if there's some type of a sacrifice, just know that whether it was your choice or not, because usually the Three of Swords is not our own choice. It's not what we would normally choose for ourselves. But whether it's a choice or not, it's a necessary thing for the clearing of the path. Okay? All right. Kind of an interesting reading, but let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers. So for those of you who are new, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we're going to pull clarifying cards for all of these cards. All right, so we're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes or so. So it's like a whole second reading. We're going to get really in depth with all of these, kind of tell a deeper story. So if you want to join, again, all the info is in the description box in the pinned comment thread down below. So let's see what comes through Libra for the Queen of Cups. What is it that you need to know here? Queen of Cups, we have another Ace of Swords, beautiful. Queen of Wands. And a Three of Cups. I don't even mind the Three of Cups there. I like that a lot. We have a Lovers. We have another Queen of Cups, and we have an Eight of Cups. Eight of Coins, I mean. And then we have another, wow, we're getting tons of repeat cards. A Knight of Wands, a Judgment, and a World card. Okay. A Four of Cups again. More repeats. Star, Six of Coins. There does seem to be a quite significant degree of detachment going on. Now we've got the Eight of Wands, Four of Wands, and the Ace of Coins. Page of Swords, Ace of Cups, Five of Coins. Five of Coins, Three of Swords kind of match to me. Kind of carries over, tells the story. Sun, Justice, and Seven of Wands. Really not that bad, I promise. Another Three of Swords. Man, these repeat cards are crazy. I don't think I've ever had this many repeats all in one comprehensive reading. Knight of Coins. Did I pull out three? Okay, Ten of Coins, beautiful. We have a Six of Wands and a Three of Coins. That's an amazing way to end this reading. So I really think Taurus season is gonna be quite rewarding. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the comprehensive. So if you want to join, all the info down below. Thank you so much, Libra. I'm sorry for all the interruptions. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting. I'll see you in the next video. All right, have a great April. Take care.